I just discovered how top wholesalers are dispositioning $30,000 properties using AI, and it's not what you think. Why most wholesalers are still manually posting on Facebook groups or going to prop stream and keep tracing buyers. Others that are already winning in the game, making multiple seven figures, are doing this with AI in under 60 seconds, finding cash buyers just like this. I'm talking about new AI platforms like InvestorBase, where you can find over 62 buyers around the property that you want to find buyers around, that has done deals in the last 2 years in a matter of seconds. But here's what's crazy. There's this three-step process that is driven by AI that allows top wholesalers to actually be ahead of the game. And 99% of people haven't heard of this. And you're gonna be one of the first ones, because everyone in the Creative Nation tour by Pace Morby that is happening in Miami will hear about this first. But you watching this video will know what is actually coming. In the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna break down how top wholesalers are doing this every single day and using tools, leveraging technology to get time back, being able to achieve more from the time that you have, and ultimately start closing deals like the top 1%. Because I'm on the mission of helping over 1,000 wholesalers and investors scale to multiple six figures and seven figures completely for free using AI. So you don't want to miss out this video. Let's dive into this right now. Back to what I was saying, Creative Nation Tour is an event done by the Sub2 community, Pace Morby, Jamil Demji, and Jared Norton. You're gonna go through this event and you're gonna get leads. You're gonna get free leads, all right? A lot of these leads will come in from Jared Norton's software, where they will be cold called for you for that day. And some of these other leads will be coming from our company, GetSellers.io, where we'll be booking appointments from Google Ads leads, Instagram, Facebook Ads leads. But guess what? You also need to disposition those leads. You also need to sell those leads and find the buyers. You need to get paid, right? So, because that's the finish line. You did probably 70, 80% of the work, and the last 20, 30% of it is actually finding someone that will be a good deal for. And this is where Daniel comes in, and it's going to help us do that in front of over 700 people that are going to be showing up. Okay. So Daniel, what's up, brother?
What's up, dude? Guys, if you're listening to this and you are in the Miami vicinity, you definitely need to make sure you're there. We sponsor a lot of different events across the country, and this one's definitely going to hit different. I mean, the guys that you see in that picture right there, not talking about myself, but the Jerry and Jamil and Pace. I mean, these guys have done a lot of deals. They have access to a lot of leads. So not only are we going to be doing stuff live, right? It's not going to be a normal event. We're going to be dispoing live when we can. So Investor Base, we're going to have a special offer that we'll roll out at that event. Happy to get a sneak peek into what that looks like towards the end of this call.
Yeah, absolutely. So Daniel, I want to go over this document right here, because we already kind of went through a document on how to find those leads, but this specific video today, this YouTube video or live that we're doing today, is how we can actually disposition those leads that we already have under contract and close bigger spreads, right, at a faster rate. So, for example, here, the first step will be doing disposition process the right way. You got to sell the contract, you got to get paid, right? So I want to go over the best tools that you currently use and how we are using Investor Base to do this entire process, right? Because once a motivated seller signs a purchase agreement, the job shifts from acquisition to disposition, marketing the deal to cash buyers, and getting that assignment closed, right? So there's different things that we need in order to make sure that we have the right buyer and the right deal, and then finding that ultimate connection, right? So as a wholesaler, you're going to have to find buyers. So let's walk through. Please kindly walk us through how we are going to find that buyer. How does the disposition process actually look like on your end to find the right buyer before we start marketing to that specific buyer? So you can share your screen or tell us more about how investor base actually help us.
Yeah, I mean, I can share my screen real quick, and I'll give you just a lens into like what this landing page actually looks like, because you're right. The first step after you go under contract is going to be, hey, let's get the details together, so that when a buyer asks, hey, what are the details, or what are you asking, you have everything in a very clean layout, in a shareable format, for you to quickly get them the details of the deal, right? So within Investor Base, we obviously have a tab that says My Listings. This is going to be a shareable landing page for this deal. So this is where you house all of your landing pages. But step one, we're going to want to create this landing page. And so you can edit all of the details within Investor Base. You see we got details in here that, Esteban touched on a minute ago. But I like over providing details here. Sorry, I was just going to call. We're good. I like over providing details in this section. You see, I went pretty hardcore on roof HVAC hot water heater H. Like, that's a big component to include. The high level, this is going to create a shareable a document for us to share with everything in one spot. Esteban, you know this from calling buyers and doing outreach to buyers. The first thing they ask for is, what are the details? So a few things I'd like to note, whether you're using our landing page or somebody else's, is always say starting price, not asking price on your pricing. Because if you do asking price and someone gets to your asking price, you're putting yourself in a rock and a hard place where, all right, now you have to accept that offer. But if you say starting price, we can always bid that number up. So make sure to include starting price in that listing. But the next thing people ask for is the actual details of the deal. What we find that works very well in this step of the process, Esteban, when you're actually talking with buyers, is to share that link while you are on the phone with them. That'll take it from step 1 to like step 4. You're reviewing photos with the buyer. That will make them more heavily engaged. And hopefully by the end of that phone call, we're going to know, hey, is this person interested or not?
Okay. Is this, how do you fill this out? How do you start this thing? Is it like, how easy is it to start creating a listing like this? Because it looks really pretty, actually. But I mean, what's that? What's that entire process?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just take this random address. We'll run a search real quick. I don't know where this is. Hermitage. This could be super rural, but right outside Nashville. All right. So we're running the search. We're to identify the most likely buyers for this deal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to snag this address, go to my listings, create listing, copy paste the address, press boom. It pulls up the street view as a placeholder. Type in my starting price, say $250. Great. Flip. You drop in your photos right here. You just click a button, drop in your photos that you have, whether it's in a drive or whatnot. So the photos will display. You can move them around and put them in order. If you don't have somebody to get the photos, then we can actually send somebody out anywhere in the entire country to get photos for you within 24 hours. All right. So that's an integration that we do through Investor Base, which is super helpful. We provide for you an ARV and a rent estimate powered by Renometer, but you can edit those as needed, change the roof condition, and then just insert all the details of the deal. We click publish, and now we have created a landing page, right? So it's that simple. It doesn't take long at all. Now all we do is click share, and we can share your customized branded link with buyers. So what this looks like whenever a buyer opens it up is it doesn't even say Investor Base on here, which is the best part, right? Because this is like your custom deal. This is your link, right? So it has your real estate, it has your company name, your colors, your logo. They can make an offer through this portal, right? Just type in the phone number, you collect some details, and make an offer. So it's pretty dang simple.
Nice. So this is kind of like a package that you put together for a buyer once you find a buyer, right?
Yep.
And like, can you add a like credibility or just the deal itself? Do you think it's what buyers are actually looking for? Like making sure that they can see the details as easy as possible. What moves really the needle forward here?
Quality photos is gonna move the needle a lot. You know, the enterprise wholesalers that are doing multiple deals a month, they'll come into a house and actually they'll sometimes get the seller to mow the lawn. They'll pay to mow it for them. They'll do a clean out, especially if it's vacant, to make the photos look way more appealing, right? We're all human and it's tough to see wall to wall sometimes, even if you're an experienced investor. But for the most part, you'll usually get a higher offer if you're able to clean the property up a little bit and do a facelift. Um, Aside from that, the biggest disqualifier for a buyer is the deal was priced too high, right? It's not the ARV estimate was too high, which some people are guilty of, right? It's not the renovation estimate was too low. Like, for instance, if the house needs 100K and you're saying, oh, it only needs 30, right? That's going to turn some buyers off if you're not realistic on that. But the number one disqualifier for a buyer when they look at your deal is going to be it was priced too high. So I think to drive engagement to this landing page and start to get these people through the funnel, it really, really starts with good photos, which we can do for you, like I mentioned, and then pricing the deal right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's do an example. Like, do you have an example of a deal that you already closed, or someone that has already closed a deal, or just a example fake seller address that we can find buyers around that area?
Yeah, I mean, let's do the one that we just searched, right? So
Yep.
this is a perfect example, right? We're right outside of Nashville. I've never been to this location. I don't know buyers here, but what we just did is after we create the landing page, like the next step is, hey, let's go identify the buyers who are paying the most and that are
Mm-hmm.
actively doing deals, right? So what we did is we ran a search and we identified 62 unique buyers that have either done a fix and flip, indicated by this blue icon, or bought a rental, the green icon, within 2 miles in 2 years. So we just created a pool of buyers that now we have the ability to share that landing page with, right? And you saw me run the search. It's that simple. The best part about this is not only is the property data extremely accurate with who we're providing for you, but we actually provide the phone numbers for these buyers for free. So it's a one step, one click of a button process where you just
Yeah.
press search, and we see we got Mr. Patel here with his phone number attached, and he's done 2 deals, one on Lurie Lane,
Yeah.
one right next door.
Do you expect? I know we're skipping steps here, but if you do get like a number from the buyer, do you expect that we will just send a quick message using, I don't know, our iPhone or quick WhatsApp, or like, did you have an extension to send a quick message from there, or like how do you expect people to actually reach out to them?
Yes, the best way right now within Investor Base is you can connect any dialer with an extension, right? Chrome extension, you just connect it, and then all of these become click call, right? You can have your dialer pop up in a window within Investor Base too. So that's super simple. So like you don't have to go and find a different type of extension or download a different type of phone tool within here. It works with everything. But if you wanted to send, say, an email blast or say a text blast, we connect with Zapier. So if we want to check all of these people, we come in here, just press send to Zapier, and I have this triggered to send directly to my CRM, right? But a lot of people will be sending this to, say they do run all their blasts on a MailChimp. They'll just run an additional campaign from here. So they'll hit their existing buyers list, within buyers list, and then they'll push the Zap to an email campaign or an SMS campaign, just with basically 2 clicks of a button. We get it set up for you here. So we have a Zaps expert that will come in and set it all up for you. And then you just saw me click 2 buttons. Just check all, push send to Zapier.
Nice, man. Are you currently have integrated any like what CRMs do you currently integrate now with?
Yeah, I mean, Zapier integrates with 8,000 different apps and softwares last time I checked, and that was like a year ago. So most of the major CRMs will be integratable with Investor Base. Like for instance, Simply, Podio, Left Main, Salesforce,
Go
all the
level.
ones. Yeah, go high level. Yeah, we have a ton of go high level users that are utilizing investor base.
That makes it very easy because the next step here obviously is like once you got your listing done, right? Once you got all the details put together, it's like how do we actually market to these buyers, right?
Mhm.
And well, normally what people do is like to go to Facebook groups or they put in different platforms and they start searching for different, start skip tracing. But it seems like investor base does a lot of it for you. Like, do you still encourage people that they'll go copy paste the listing that you just created in investor base and copy paste it um, into like these other channels like Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups with local REIs, or how else do you think it'll be ideal for marketing the deal to find someone as not only relying on one way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way to leave no stone unturned, right? You might find a buyer in there that hasn't done a deal in a long time that now wants to buy one or something like that that maybe we didn't identify. Um, but for the most part, like we don't really advise for just posting in Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups like that because you lose a little bit of the qualification process, right? Like you don't always know who's on the other side of that DM that's like, hey man, I'm interested, right? Okay. Now we got to go through the qualification process. Like, has this guy ever done a deal before? Right? When's the last time he did a deal? You know, we find that you might find some wholesalers that are pretending to be a buyer. You might find some pretty inexperienced buyers in some of those channels, which obviously we're scrubbing those guys out for you.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your strategy? So you're marketing to a buyer, right? And are you going to be sending a text message, cold text message? You're going to be sending a cold email. Let's talk about the strategy real quick. You're going to just cold call them. Like what would you say is the best way to approach a buyer like this?
Yeah. So typically when you go under contract, you're going to see most wholesalers run about more or less like a 7-day marketing process, right? So probably
Mhm.
7 days to market the deals. And we're going to try and generate interested buyers, right? So like that's step one, like, hey, let's get as many people interested in the deal as possible. Um,
Mhm.
where we want to push them is towards a walkthrough, right? Or an offer, depending on occupancy, right? But let's just keep it simple. Let's say it's vacant. We're going to want to push these people to a walkthrough, right? Um, and then we're going to want to collect offers. So like highest level is like those are kind of the tiered effect, right? So
Yeah.
it goes really like this, Esteban. It goes like engagement at the top. We have to get people to engage in the deal and respond to us and to engage in the photos and the actual landing page and get them interested, right?
Okay.
Then we have interested buyers, then we have number of walkthroughs, then we have offers. So it's a funnel. It's just like any other sales funnel. And we need to make sure we're converting at each part of the process. Um, so in the marketing process, to answer your question directly, I think you will always have higher conversions with a cold call campaign or a call campaign to like your buyers list, right? Because a person picks up the phone, they're going to be way more engaged, right?
Right.
Versus just seeing an email or getting a text. But we still say definitely run an email campaign like a blast to the buyers you have a relationship with, run the SMS campaign, and then do a double call voicemail text 2 to 3 day campaign on the cold call front. So
Okay.
that's
So
two
two
to
times
two.
calls, right?
Yep.
Plus voice,
Plus text.
plus text. Okay. What do you usually say in the text messages?
Yeah. So I get a lot of text messages from wholesalers actually, because we still do deals. We've done a lot of deals, and I've just put myself in the shoes of, hey, I'm actually a buyer. So I like the ones that highlight the deal that I did, right? And then the deal that they have at the very start of the text, right? Some people are sending a very generic uh, mass blast of the deal details, but I like to see it a little bit more personalized. So something like, Hey, Daniel, I just saw that you did this deal over at 940 White Street in Atlanta. Looked like a great flip, dude. I also see that you've done about 6 deals in this market in the last year. We have a
Hmm.
great deal that probably works well for you based on what you've been buying historically. It's over on XYZ Street.
Okay.
I
So personalized
typically,
based
yeah,
on the buyer that you find in investor base.
yep. And if it's cold, I typically wouldn't include the number, the house number. I would just say the name of the street.
Okay.
It's 2025. Unfortunately, there's people out there that might try and swerve you if you don't know them, right? And that's just a component of, hey, who are you sending it to? What channels are you sending this out in? You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Do you think that maybe sending them like a blue bubble message is more effective? Let's say iMessage as opposed to like regular SMS.
Um, yeah, I would say that would move the needle.
Okay. So iMessage, there's actually a few iMessage providers that I started seeing out there that integrate with also some CRMs like Go Level.
Mhm.
I know that because if you want to do personalized message and you're like, and you know that 60% of people have iPhones, then try to how do you stay within the blue, the blue zone, and like there is different platforms that allows you to do that. Like Link app is one. I don't know if you ever heard of that one, but
Mhm.
you can also integrate it within the CRM. So LinkUp is one. This is the one that I use. There's other ones that does iMessage, so you don't have to use your personal message iMessage. But for example, if you have a disposition specialist, disposition manager, or someone that is marketing actively and while they're searching in investor base on the different buyers, like you can definitely make them use these platforms or whenever you're automating it, right? How many
Mhm.
people, like let's say you find 5 buyers for that property in investor base, like can you select all of them at the same time, like just do a blast, or do you have to do one by one?
Yeah, so you can check a box to select all, right? So you can
Mm.
select all. If it's 150, great, right? So we give you the power to do that, yeah.
Okay. But in that case, then personalization cannot necessarily happen. So it's just better to personalize the message and do one by one if you really want to like get attention of these buyers at the end of the day. So double call, right? And then a text
Mhm.
message.
Yeah, I would say that as a part of the call campaign, send that manual text, and then you can have a blast text go out from the company number,
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
typically.
All right. So next step is like qualifying the buyers, right? So let's say the buyers do show interest. What do you normally ask them? Like, I have this question in here, but like, what's your normal process on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty generic, man. I'm gonna wanna know if they have experience doing deals, right? Like, a red flag for me would be if someone's like, "Yeah, man, I've been thinking about doing a deal for a long time, and I haven't done one." I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that guy more than likely." So experience is gonna be a big one. Their type of financing is definitely a huge one, and who their lender actually is. So if somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to be using hard money on this," then I want to know who the lender is, and I want to know the past deals that he's closed with that lender, just to make sure that all of those have been closing on time. If they're paying cash, great, even better. Move to the next process. I want to know if he's okay with my title company, right? And I would usually frame that as a non-negotiable with the buyer, like, "Hey, look, we close with this title company and this title company. Is that okay with you?" We've done X amount of deals with them. It always goes smooth. It's kind of a non-negotiable for us, right? Um,
Yeah.
Last piece is going to be, hey, look, man, for all of our deals, we require 3 to 5,000, depending on what market you're in, of non-refundable earnest money. Just confirming that that's not going to be an issue for you with this deal.
Okay.
And the assignment contract that we do, or the A to B contract, if it's double closing, it will not be valid until we receive that earnest money say within 24 hours of the execution of that contract, right?
Okay.
So set the expectations for the deal. Make sure there's no red flags where they're like, oh no, man, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting $5,000 down. All right, well, dude, it might be a problem, you know? So yeah, I would say those are the basics. Then like if you can tell he's a good buyer, you know, that's where I'd go into like building the actual relationship building part that I think a lot of people actually miss. Is actually building the relationship with him and then collecting his info for future deals. You know, like, hey
Yeah.
man, what are your goals for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
You know,
So, oh, someone just asked if you have an API. Actually, not too long ago.
it depends on what it's for. But I'd say yes and no, Joe. If you want to shoot me an email, I don't know if you want to find me on Facebook, shoot me a DM. That works.
Yeah, email. Anyways, all right, cool. Look, I wanna know kind of how you approach. Let's say you find someone like using investor base, right? And then
Mhm.
this person has not doesn't know anything about you, right? And but they show you know that he's a potential buyer. How do you approach that question? I mean, how do you approach that conversation initially? So you call the buyer, they pick up the phone. Do you have a sales script? Do you have a sales framework that you actually go through? Like, how's that actual sales like a script or introduction to the buyer, so that you can actually set your
Yeah.
authority and so on? Or is it just about the deal?
No, it's not. So I would say a few things in like high level. Just something to know about buyers is they're running businesses more often than not. Usually they're full time or they have another job. Like this is they're usually very busy people. So you got to go into the conversation with knowing that and respecting their time. So the faster we get to the point of we're telling them why we're calling is very important. So to that degree, you know, typically within the first 10 seconds, I'm going to reference the deal that they did, right? So in investor base, I can see that they did a deal over here on 123 Main. I can see another deal that they did. I'm going to reference those right off the rip. And then I'm going to reference my deal shortly after. The question is, after that, is are you still doing flips around this area, right? So it's pretty simple. Hey Esteban, I saw you just what's going on, man? This is Daniel. How you doing, Daniel? Great. Awesome. Hey, look, man, I'm just calling because I saw that you did this deal right around the corner from one I got over here on 123 Main Street. And I saw you did another deal actually over there on XYZ Street. Look, I got a great deal over here on Front Street, and we're just calling to see if you're still doing any more flips. So simple call. But it kind of makes it more warm when he knows that you know more about him than he initially would have thought, right? Like we know you're doing deals. We think you're a good buyer for this deal. Okay. So that's the start. There's a lot of other pieces to the script that I'm not sure if I'll have time to fully get into right now. But maybe like two or three other things that I'll drop in here is a good hook is to let him know that he's one of the first people to see the deal. So think about it. No buyer wants to be the 500th person that you've called. No buyer wants to know that you've already blasted it to your entire list, right? No buyer wants to know that it's on market being novated or that it's on an off-market marketplace. Buyers like the idea that they're the first one to the punch, right? That they're getting like an exclusive type access to this deal. So the way that I frame that with buyers is along these lines. I'm like, hey, Esteban, look, by the way, man, you know, you're really one of the first people that I've reached out to. I don't have that many great buyer relationships here in town. So look, man, if you can get close to what we're asking or at it, you know, I think this is something we'll definitely pull the trigger with you on. Now, I say that, Esteban, I will let you know transparently. I'm gonna reach out to a few more buyers that I have in the Rolodex. So this is a timing thing for us. So we are looking to move this quick. But if you can move fast on this and you can get to X price, man, would love to pull a trigger with you. And by the way, We just dropped a ton of marketing in this market. So we got a lot more leads and deals coming down the pipeline. So we can get this one done, dude. We're gonna have a lot more coming down the pipeline for you. So there's a few things that I did right there that makes that buyer want to, one, act quickly, two, get to my asking price.
Nice. You also applied some urgency in there. Cool, man. Yeah, man. So and then after that, of course, make sure that you go through the entire process of making sure that this buyer is good for the assignment. Definitely get like an earnest money deposit, because like if someone backs up, like you at least get that, right? 5K, I think is fair, to be honest. If you're working with serious buyers, that's fair, right? And
Yep.
that way you can also you're essentially financing your marketing at the same time, right? If you're able to get that in, and then take care of the rest of the disposition process, after that. But I do want to talk real quick about investor base fast. What new features, or what features are you guys working on to help the disposition process, to help all this thing going on? What are you guys working on?
Yeah, we've made a lot of enhancements to the actual CRM section within Investor Base. So when you come to the My Deal section, this is going to be where you're going to be able to track all of your marketing progress with the deal. So we reference marketing a few times, and we reference call campaigns a few times. So this is where all your deals are stored. But when we click into the deal of the search that we just ran in Tennessee, what we have the ability to do is like we get the ability to track the statuses of all of the buyers that we're speaking with, right? So like, what was the outcome of that conversation that we had? How many calls did we make to buyers? So now we can start to hold either ourselves or our team accountable. So as we move down this list from most likely to least likely to buy our deal, we're able to click into the buyer's card, change their buyer status to interested. Let's say we called them once. We can validate his phone number, and we can take notes. Great buyer, very interested, wants to walk, right? Whatever we want to put in there. So that's been a great one for people to get their workflow right, and to be able to really maximize their time when they're actually doing these campaigns. Something cool when we talk about qualifying buyers is what we just rolled out the other day. Let's take one with a decent amount. Let's take this guy. So Rob Gulseth. We see this number 18 right here. We were just able to essentially not only show you the properties in this guy's current portfolio, but we're able to show you all the historical flips that he has done. So when you click into link deals, we see he's got a buy and hold up here in Massachusetts, but we see this guy has done 12 flips and has 6 rentals, all on this east side of Nashville. So what this does on a qualification rise is I'm able to see he bought one in 2025, 2025, 2025, 2025, 2024. So it looks like he's bought about 5 properties this year. I don't need to ask this guy too many qualification questions. You know what I mean? I can see exactly what he bought, the price he bought it for, where it was, the percent of ARV he bought it for, 81%. That's pretty good. We can audit these deals by just clicking on the Zillow link that we have. So this is a really cool feature to start to see, hey, who are the biggest buyers in my market, but also who is paying the most. 77% of ARV is an outrageous number of flips.
Yeah.
That's really good. So this is definitely a buyer that now I would prioritize, right? So that's a cool one. Other than that, man, we got stuff rolling out all the time. I mean, we have a lot of cool stuff coming out next year.
Nice, man. I appreciate that. So, how can people start using Investor Base prior to the event, or get more familiar to the event of Creative Nation Tour, or just if they want to start using it? Like, what's the best way to do it?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you go to investorbase.com, Esteban, you could probably drop a promo code or something. I know you're an affiliate, so you actually get a discount with Esteban's link. But we have a 14-day free trial. Okay, so you can get into Investor Base, start running searches and identifying buyers anywhere in the entire country for your deal. I mean, 5 minutes from now if you want to, right? It's just sign up. It's a 14-day free trial. After that, it's $250 a month. Once again, that includes the free skip tracing. But we give you a pretty decent opportunity to get into the software, check it out, create listings, add some buyers to your buyers list, work the workflow, and figure out if it's a fit for you or not.
I love that. Well, can't wait to see you at the Creative Nation Tour by Paige Morby, Jamel, Damji, and Jerry Norton. So
Yeah, man,
we
I'm pumped.
will be, GetSellers.io will also be in that event. Again, I'm coming back to this Creative Nation Tour, January 8th, 2025. If you watched this video and didn't go, so sorry for you. Sorry, not sorry. In Miami, like one of the best cities in the US. All right. If not the best city, to be honest.
Are you going to
And
take me to dinner?
yeah, we were going to go to beers, dinner, and maybe
You're going to give me
some,
drinks too? You owe me a
yeah, so
beer.
maybe going on a boat too. So yeah,
Ooh.
let's make it happen. Again, Daniel McClam from Investor Base is sponsoring this, and can't wait to see you guys there. So love that you guys. Hope you guys love this, and start using Investor Base right now. Okay, and that's about it. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, brother. Anytime. Thank you.
All right. So again, follow any links that I'm going to send you in the description or the comments for any type of deals, discounts, or trials, and so on. And definitely make sure that you RSVP to creativenationtour.com for the event as well, because we're going to be there. Over 700 people are going to be present in the event the day before Owners Club Mastermind, which is kind of crazy. So, all right, see you guys. And this is the end of the live.